What's up, guys? Raphael Bill from RaphaelProductions.com, and today I'm here with something a little bit different than what we normally do. Normally we do reviews, and this is kind of a review, but I wanted to couple it with something extra. To give you a little background information, everybody remembers when they were growing up they played like G.I. Joes or Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles or whatever they played. We actually used to collect all different kinds of toys, and it was nice to kind of cross them over and make our own storylines. And just because this is Raphael doesn't mean he has to be Raphael. He could be his own guy, and we could do these big stories. As time went on, we kind of developed a problem with this. Anybody that's played RP knows about God moding. No matter what you do, the other kid doesn't want to lose. This actually led to us creating a system where, a lot like we see in today, things like Death Battle and things like that are out, and all these verses are getting really popular. We did that when we were kids too, and I'm sure that other people did also. I want to show you a system that I created years back. All you need is a deck of cards, and we're kind of gonna fall back into our childhoods here, and we're going to answer a question. Who would win a versus battle? And I just wanted to show this to you, really. It was something that we used to do all the time, and I felt like it was fun, and I feel like I'd almost like to see a more professional version of the game made. So let's move on to the items that we're actually reviewing. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been around for years. I'm not going to say the exact date because actually I didn't bother to drop back my research or nothing, but I believe it was in the 80s without a doubt that these things came out. And they were huge. The comic book was never as big as the show. The show kind of streamlined it and shoved it into our faces. It became the big media and everything like that. But over the years, there's been many adaptations of the Turtles. And because there's a new Turtles out, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Nickelodeon, I've seen the art style. I haven't watched an episode yet. I'll give you a more in-depth analysis on that later. But as it stands, I hate the way the art looks. I can't stand it. I absolutely despise it. Not that our turtles were necessarily awesome looking, but these things look awful. But I did pick up, just for the hell of it, 4 turtles. And the toys, I have to admit, look pretty sweet. This is my Leonardo. We have Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael. I feel like the toys look pretty sweet. I really do. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox these. We'll kind of give you an overview on what we think about the detail or whatever, and then from there, I'm going to show you the little game we used to play, just for an extra. Alright, all the turtles are unboxed, and the very first one that I'm going to go over, this is of course Leonardo. Leonardo is kind of one of those people that became my favorite turtle. At the start I didn't kind of care for him. He was really serious, and you know, I was a kid and everything. The first turtle I remember liking was actually Michelangelo, because he was fun. He was the fun turtle. And then afterwards, I kind of started to migrate. I kind of went over to Raphael. He was my favorite turtle because he was edgy and he was an asshole. Like, everybody wanted to be the cool turtle. And then slowly but surely, I started to like Don, because just like Egon is my favorite Ghostbuster because he seems the most intelligent, I liked Donatello for his intelligence. But as time went on, I kind of started to see that Leonardo was the leader for a reason. He understood the good and the bad of every turtle and how to use that to accomplish a goal. I feel like these turtles don't look bad. I really feel like it's pretty sweet. I don't mind these little wrappings here. That's kind of cool. I kind of like the idea. They got these big giant clocker feet, but I mean, they're not human either. So, and it actually kind of helps to stand him up, actually. I can tell that by his back that these swords probably go in there, and they probably go in there pretty decently. They fit his hands really well. So let me just, like that, and like that. I'm happy with that. I actually am. I feel like this turtle looks pretty sweet, and I feel like I won't be embarrassed to put him on my shelf next to my Turtles movies. I have the Blu-ray Pizza Box set, and I feel like these will look really cool standing in front of it. I didn't get Splinter or nothing like that, but he's pretty cool. Each turtle came with a kind of cutout of extra weapons too, and we're not going to use this for the demonstration, but I figured in terms of people that are collecting, I would mention it. It's kind of got like a steel color and everything, and I'm sure if you wanted to go in with a paintbrush and detail them or whatever, you could do so. Same like the D&D little figures. But essentially he gets some kunais, some throwing stars, whatever the frig this prison shank weapon here is, and a longer sword. All in all, I'm going to say Leo, this is a very solid looking turtle. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 5 easily. He's probably one of the coolest turtles I've bought ever. So let's move on to another turtle.
Hey guys, Lone Paladin, part of Raphael Productions. I'm here with Raphael Build today to help do the demonstration. So he just went over Leonardo, and yeah, Leonardo was actually probably one of the coolest turtles. I always loved Donatello though, because he was the smart one of the group. He always had a way to get out of something. He always had a cool new invention. When the TV series came out, he was like, hey guys, I built this thing. And everyone's like, okay. It's like, it's cool. And they never really gave him the respect he deserved half the time. So, looking at this little guy, he also has the big clonker feet, which seems to help him stand up a little bit. Problem is, he keeps trying to fall over a little bit, so I don't know if they worked out the bottoms correctly or not. He does move around a bit, and because they are brand new, we have to actually break them in a little bit more. I had a problem with the way he tries to hold a bow staff with this, though, because it doesn't really fit properly. You literally have to bend the arms a way they're not supposed to, which is something that bothers me. But the bow staff does look pretty cool. It does have the little holder back here, just like it did on the Leonardo one, so that way you can just sit there. And honestly, he looks pretty cool. He's got that, yeah, I'm a smart guy, kiss my ass look. And let's see if I can get him to stand back up. Now, as with all the other turtles, he also came with little add-ons, which I don't think they thought the colors came through too correctly. I know he uses a wooden bow staff, but right here he's got a bow, or one of the bow staffs with the blades at the end, and the blade is the same exact color as the wood. So he's got a wooden shank on a long stick. These little throwing blade things, I literally looked at Reploid and was like, why does Donatello have wooden saw blades? There is no reason for that. So they could have done better on that, because I know they're trying to color coordinate it with the weapons and stuff, but honestly, that's a letdown for me, because they could have done a lot better with those. But overall, I'd say it's probably about a 4. I would have given it a 5 had the weapons been colored a little bit better, and if I didn't have to bend the arms, because eventually that will cause them to break, and that's just not a cool thing. So definitely 4 out of 5, because it still looks pretty cool. So I guess we'll go ahead and head on to the next one.
All right, we're here on our next turtle. Of course, this is Michelangelo. I don't really have much left to say about the turtles in general, other than Michelangelo is probably the weakest of the 4 turtles. I'm not trying to down anybody's favorite turtle, but let's be honest here. Most of his free time is spent like playing video games, watching TV, eating pizza, cooking, fucking downing bags of potato chips and shit. It doesn't make him the most necessary person to have on your team. Like, he really feels like the weakest of the turtles. And though he was a lot of fun when I was younger, he's kind of more a comic relief in the turtles than anything else now. And I don't believe that he wins many fights. At least I don't feel like he should. I think in the show, maybe they kind of show it that he kicks some ass somehow. But in the movie, all he really did is just fuck around all the time. So I do like Mikey, but I really feel like, especially in a mass fight. Okay, he's the fastest turtle. I'll give him that. If everybody had to have something, his energy, like his moving around, is always his skittishness, he's probably the quickest turtle that there is. And of course, once again, this turtle, he has like the little thing back here that you can put his weapons away. I don't know how practical they are. Let me try. Okay, yeah, fun. They're not a hard plastic though. They're kind of like a rubbery material, so the belt actually does give, and you can get the nunchucks in there, and then they stay pretty much exactly where you put them. So that's pretty cool. I have to say I like the fact that you could put the weapons away. It does kind of add a little bit, like if I was still playing with my toys all the time or something like that would be something that would be really cool to me, because I don't always have to have like weapons in my pocket, or he always has to hold them. He can put them away and look natural for a while. He's of course the lightest skin turtle, and they kind of went a different way with him. These bands aren't like a gauze color. They're kind of like more like, I don't know if it's a leathery strap color or what, but I feel like he looks good. In terms of how he looks, I'd give him a 5 out of 5 again. His weapons are orange. Once again, that's probably like Nick said. I believe that the color scheme was not thought out properly. But to go back to my point, if you're really that hard on about it, you can go in and color these. So I'm still going to stick with a 5 out of 5. I think that this turtle looks pretty sweet. And for what it's worth, let's move to Raphael.
All right, now moving on to Raphael. Basically, Raphael was literally well, as we like to joke around and say, he was the big bald turtle. I mean, hell, look at the guy. He's literally screaming, "I got big nuts, and I'm going to kick you in yours." He was the meanest, most aggressive of the turtles, and I'm still trying to figure out why he's the darkest colored of them all, but it works for him because he's kind of got that dark energy towards him. I mean, he kicks an ass all day long. He's like, whatever. He grips the weapons really well. As with all the other three, there's also spots in the back for him to stick these, which fit actually pretty decently. One of the things I did like, though, with Raphael, he's got this little chip right there on his chest, or part of his chest shell right here, that actually makes it look more like he is the battle-hardened one. He's the one that always, gets up close, whoops an ass, and takes a beating. So, honestly, with the little details like that, I think that's actually pretty cool. So, I'm definitely going to give Raphael a 5 out of 5. He's probably one of the coolest versions of the turtle action figures that I've seen in a long time. And kind of like with Leonardo, he also gets the kind of steel gray looking weapons and stuff, which for his setup is actually pretty right, honestly. So that color scheme didn't bother me too much because everything he uses is metal. So that's just one of those things that always bothered people, but as Bill said, if you really get bugged out by that a lot, just go to your local hobby shop, pick up some model paints, and slap it on there. So, but enough of the review over the turtles. Let's go ahead and teach you all our little game.
All right. We said we were going to show you how we used to kind of play guys to kind of avoid fighting with each other over who should win or who's the best or this or that. We created a type of stat system. Now, just for whatever, these are all going to be level 6 characters. Basically, that means they're going to get 6 cards, and we're going to divide those up into stats that make sense for each turtle. So here's how this works, and we'll explain the details of it a little easier here in a minute, or more detail rather. So Leonardo is essentially, he's the leader, he's the one that's he's strategic, and he's constantly in training. He's really even, so he's going to get 3 for his attack cards, and he's going to get 3 for his defense card each turn that he plays. Next is going to be, we're going to cut over to Raphael because Mikey has a bit of a stipulation that I'll have to explain. Raphael is probably the most physically aggressive and strong turtle that there is out of the bunch. So we're only going to give him 2 defense cards because when it comes down to it, the size don't work well in terms of defending, except for maybe like blocking a sword, and of course they like to do that sword breaking thing, and that's cool effect, but in actuality he's essentially got 2 shanking knives that were originally designed to put holes in a field. So he's aggressive. So here it goes. He's going to get 4 attack cards. Not very defensive, very offensive. Donatello, on the other hand, we're going to change that. He's going to get only 2 attack cards, but he's going to get 4 defense. Idea here is that he would be the most defensive turtle. If you come at him, first you've got to reach him. That can be tough to do. He has the most reach, and he's probably got one of the fastest weapons there is, especially if you've ever seen bow staff demonstrations or something like that. The first attempt to even attack is you're going to have to get in on him to make an attack on him, and that's going to be tough to do. So he's the most defensive of the turtles. That's how we're going to do his cards. The next is Michelangelo. As I said before, Michelangelo is probably the weakest of the turtles. He's going to get 2 defense cards, and he's going to get 2 attack cards. Now, he's not cheated, mind you. Other people have to use their aggressive card or give up defense in order to move to the target they're hoping to attack. Michelangelo actually gets 2 cards that are stipulated specifically for speed, and because he is without a doubt the fastest of the turtles, he can use a defense or an attack card to move should he want to, but he has the 2 that are specifically designed for him to move, and he always goes first. He is the fastest turtle. So while the others have to fight over a speed stat, which I'll show you how to do that also, he does not have to do that. He goes first, period. So let's set up the game and I'll explain how each one works. All right, normally this game, here's the idea. The table is your battleground. You choose your table, you set it up however you want to. I didn't add any type of extra stuff to this, but I could have. If you want, you can add items to the table, which make it a little more interesting because you can throw items, or if there's something on the table, they can get hit into it, and then that causes a whole new type of stat. But for right now, I'm just going to show you the bare bones of how we used to play this game. The very first thing you do is, of course, you have your dead pile, this. Everybody else already has their stats. Now, the turn is done when all the stat cards are used up. The beginning of the turn is indicated very simply. He goes first, of course. I told you he goes first, he has the speed, he gets to go first. Everyone else will essentially fight over determining speed. Since the rest of the turtles are pretty much about the same speed that I can think of, unless I was to make Raph a little slower, but I don't think that's the case. So these 4 turtles have to determine like this. You flip those, and these 2 tied. Donnie will go last on this turn. Leo will go second, Raph will go third. Now that that's out of the way, you take these and they go into a sort of discard pile. Just set them over to the side or whatever you got to do. At this point, it's all, like I said, it's kind of storyline driven. We're going to make it real simple. 4 turtles, they didn't get a shredder. Finally, it's reached the end, they're pissed. Now they're going to fight it out. So we'll get down to how you actually play the game now. Mikey's going first. Mikey, I'm going to use his king on speed and his 2 on speed. The idea is that you gauge how far their feet would actually move, and that's actually real simple. With a king and a 2, he can pretty much go anywhere he wants. So he's going to move out to the middle because he's a friggin' moron. He's going to waste one of his attack stats, which you're allowed to look at these cards, by the way. You can look at your 2 attack stats, or you can look at your 2 defense stats, and you can determine what you want to do. But don't mix these cards up or else you're cheating. So I'm going to waste a 4 on his defense because it's better to waste a 4 than waste one of your good numbers, and I'm going to get his nunchucks out. Now, normally all of his attacks deal regular damage, but since his nunchucks are essentially one of the worst weapons, he gets a +1 to all his attacks while holding the nunchucks. So he's ready for battle. And it's another turtle's turn. Okay, next is going to come Leonardo. I'm going to waste a 5 from my defense deck, and that's going to get my swords out. Then I'm going to rush Michelangelo using my attack. Attack is how you move. Defense can also be how you move, but once the attacking starts, you want to make sure you have something in your defensive deck, otherwise you're going to be pretty screwed during this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to waste my jack so that I can guaranteedly get to him. So now I'm on him, but because he's not looking at me, this also counts as a form of surprise attack. He's not ready for me to be out here this quick. So when I attack, I'm going to go all out right off the bat, and I'm going to use my Joker. This guarantee, now I guarantee that I hit him with this. He has to go into his defense deck, which the only thing he has on him is a 7. He can't block. He has to take the hit. And that's where we come down to life points on the turtles. This works like this. Each turtle gets 3 life points. Bam, 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 bam. Set them sideways or something so you know that that's what they are. And on the very first life stat, I'm going to flip it. He has a jack. I guaranteedly took that. That's 1 life point down for him. The scratch across the back of his shell is going to send him forward, and he's going to have to be like this for a second. Now he can use his defensive card at this exact moment to flip back up. So now he's over here, and he's more focused towards me. And Leonardo, at this point, is going to stand ground. He's not moving any further, and it goes to another turtle's turn.
All right, so it's Raphael's turn. So I'm going to take my attack cards. I'm going to burn a 5. I'm going to bust out his size. So Raphael's ready to go start whooping an ass like he always does because, well, it's Raphael. He does that. So now I'm going to look at whatever else I got. The closest turtle to me right now is Michelangelo, and he's got his back to me. So that's going to be my definite attack. So I'm going to move with my 7 and get all up on him. And now I'm going to hit him with a king. So right now I've got a back attack on him. So with that king, I'm going to be doing damage to him. He doesn't have a way to block me unless he just burned all of his defense cards. So now we're going to go over and flip his next life card, which is a 7. So I took that away from him right there.
It's also important to note that Raphael gets also a +1 with his weapons because their size. I would give him a +2, but that's kind of reserved for the people that actually have the more practical weapons.
Yeah. So Mikey just got hit, and I'm going to combo up with a jack. So I'm going to hit him with one side, and I'm going to hit him with with the other. So with the jack, he's going to hit a 10 on that. So Mikey's gone.
Michelangelo is already out of the game. However, his body and his weapons will remain on field.
All right, so with that, Raphael is done because all of his attack cards are gone. So where'd our discard pile go? Okay, throw those over there. So he's done. He's going to just be standing here waiting for Leonardo to come and kick his ass. So we're going to move over here to Donatello. Now, I would burn one of my attack cards like I did with Michelangelo or with Raphael, but don't need to because I got a lot of defense cards. So I'm going to burn this 3 to get his bow staff out, and I'm going to see what else I've got in my other hand. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move him closer to Leonardo. So he's going to be moving at 8, so that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is where he's going to end up. So he's going to get behind Leonardo. That way he's got a better chance. And I'm going to hold off on that. And I'm going to say Donatello's just going to kind of chill out there.
All right, Leonardo's going to burn a 9. This will allow him to flip backwards. And my intent here was to use the 9 for my defense card. I'm going to flip backwards, something like this, and I'm going to come down on top of you. Now, because Leonardo has the more aggressive weapon, he gets a +2 to his actual attack card stat. His attack card was a 5, now it's a 7. But at the same time, Donatello, while at any type of distance of range, gets a +2 to all of his defense stats.
Well, let's see. So I had to beat... Well, I still had to beat it. 5 then.
Yeah, you have to beat a 7.
Well, so I had to beat... Well, yeah, beat a 7. So... You know, I'm going to be a complete jerk about this, because there was one rule about the Jokers that we always forgot to state. And everyone always forgets it until someone busts it out.
The Joker
on
is
a
like an
defense
ultimate attack. It can work as a counterattack also.
So I'm going to counterattack that with that Joker. And as he's coming down, I'm just going to jab him with the bow staff and launch him backwards.
All right. I'm going to count that as a surprise because my 7 does not give me the opportunity to be invincible to a Joker. So I'm going to lose my 2 swords. They're going to fall there, and I'm going to fall back this way. Now, you'll notice I didn't flip my life card. The initial hit during a defense does not cause me to lose life, but the impact that I have on the ground, unless I flip this, if I was to hit the ground right now off that, I get a surprise indication in an environment card. An environment card means I would have to draw this, and then the impact is a 10, and I would have to draw a life to see if it hurts me. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to use this 7 to go back up and be ready for a fight.
Another thing is, with the life cards, those are the only cards in the game that you do not look at. You keep them set just like so, and then as you go through, then you flip it over when you need to. Other than that, you have no clue what your card's life are. So it's more like a luck and chance on if you're going to be able to defend something when you decide to let it go to your life.
Yes, and where's Donatello looking now?
Donatello is looking right at Raphael still.
All right.
Because he already disarmed Leonardo, so his big thing is the big guy going to come rush him here in a minute.
Speaking of which, Leonardo is now out of cards. He has to wait for the next aggressionary turn to actually get his cards back.
So his next turn, he'll be able to get cards.
Yep.
So now we're going to go ahead and go over to Raphael. Right. So Raphael was a jerk and backstabbed poor Michelangelo. Poor Michelangelo. So right now, all I have left are his 2 defense cards. Because, well, I didn't bother using them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use my 3 and get him to hop over the body of his fallen buddy that he stabbed in the back. And then I'm going to wait for Donatello to come rush him and try to whoop him. So with that, now we're going to move over to Donatello's turn. And hey, look, I'm still here. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and burn the 4 on his defense card to get him into attack range. It should be about here. He should be able to hit from here, I believe. I mean, I would think so, right?
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and get him here, and then he's going to throw down a 6. Well, unfortunately, the only card left that Raphael has is a 5. So right there, he's going to take the hit, and it just so happens to be a 6. Now, the problem is, when it ties, I believe we did decide that it still takes the card away.
Yes, that's still damage.
So even if you tie, the aggressor...
Otherwise, there's no way to get rid of a Joker in life.
Exactly. So with that, Raphael took the hit. So those go into the discard pile, and he's going to stagger back a bit because it really wasn't that hard of a hit. It's more like a jab, and he was pretty much ready for it. So he is now out of cards. Donatello has 1 card left, and he's probably going to go and get into a better defensive spot. So he's going to run back to about here and get into a more defensive stance. So with that, all 3 remaining turtles have used up all their cards. So the next person that's going to be up will be Leonardo.
All right, now we redispense cards. He was a 3/3 if you remember, and Donatello needs 2 attack, 4 defense. There's his cards back, and then shuffle out your defense pile, or your throwaway pile, sorry, because by now we've used all the cards. So
Yeah, this game involves a lot of reshuffling.
keep in mind that the game was designed by like 12-year-olds. So even though I'm still kind of having fun playing it, I do see that there are some flaws in here. And now all the turtles got their stuff back. And we're ready to keep playing.
So round 2 now begins.
All right. I'm going to move my 6. And I'm going to get back over here to one of my swords. I'm going to need it to win. And then, like I said before, Leonardo is one of those characters that's very even. He knows the strengths of the turtles. And because he's very balanced, now he's going to use this. I'm not going to show you what it is, but I'm going to put that automatically onto my defense from this stance. Whether they attack me from the front, the sides, or the back, I'm ready to defend. And just like Donatello, I'm going to steal his adaptation and add a 2 to that defense card. And now it's their turn.
All right, so we got Defendicus and Mimicus over here. And Mr. I'm going to stab the living crap out of you until you're bleeding to death. So we're going to make sure he plays more towards his character. So he's going to rush the turtle that he thinks has the least chance of probably defending his attacks. And even though Leonardo has set up in a defensive stance, he only has one weapon right now. So he would be the most logical choice, especially because all Raph would have to do is find a way to get past the bow staff. And right now he just does not want to deal with that. So we're going to go look into here. I'm going to burn my jack to get up right on top of Leonardo. And I'm going to go ahead and burn my queen to attack him.
Ah, poop.
So the queen's coming up to attack.
And it's going to. I had a 9, that only makes me an 11. A queen is a 12, I believe.
Yes.
So I go to my life deck. It was an 8, so I take that damage.
And then I'm going to combo up with an ace.
And I have to take that hit too. And that's a 3, and that hurts me.
And then we're going to finalize with a kick with a 4. Got anything to beat a 4?
Yeah, I'm going to block that with my 9.
Okay. So right now, Raphael has whooped it up on Leonardo. Leonardo is not feeling too happy right now. And then with that, Raph is going to take a step or 2 back with a 2, and he's just going to end his turn. Now over to Donatello. This guy is just chilling out watching these two beat the living crap out of each other. So he is going to do something that no one would ever think of him to do. He's going to burn his 8 and his 2 for his defense, and he's going to side blind Raphael. So we're going to throw those away. And with that, he's going to throw a 4 at Raphael just to kind of test the waters. And Raphael is going to block with an ace. So nothing happened there. And then Raphael is now out of cards. I'm going to throw a 6 at him. He's got no way to defend. Now here's the fun part. Whenever you take life damage, you flip the card, and that's a jack.
Now, because it's a jack, he receives no damage, but he
But-
has to replace that jack because we're not allowed to see our life.
Yeah. Now, certain instances where we played different games or different variances of games, we eventually made it so that way there are certain cards that if you attack it, like Spider-Man. Spider-Man had the Spider Sense super ability. So he would have a separate card that was set off to the side like this, and then once you hit, he would have the Spider Sense flip over. The big difference is Spider Sense did not get discarded. It was whatever that was until it was beat. So if it was a 6 and you threw a 5 down, it flipped over, you had to constantly know you had to beat a 6 to even be able to hit Spider-Man. And until this card was beat, it didn't do anything. But it was always showing. So now that that's hit, missed, Donatello is going to take this card and put this into a defensive stance,
Which is that +2.
which is a +2 on top of the +2 I've already got. So he's now at +4 defense. So, and that will be it for Donatello, I think.
Except for against Raphael. If
Oh, yeah.
Raphael attacks you, it's just a 2.
But for everyone else, it's +4.
I have to move in on you.
Yeah. So now we'll go ahead and go over to Leonardo.
All right. All right. I'm going to move with my 3, which is going to put me here. I'm going to do a spinning back kick with my 9 into the back of Raphael.
Now here's the problem. As you know, Raphael does not have any defense or attack cards left.
Means he can't stop me.
So he's going to take the hit, and lo and behold, it's a 2.
Okay.
Sad
I
faces.
was hoping for this. Because a 2, I'm going to hit him. He's going to wreck into you.
But I've got the defense card
What
set up.
is it?
So with that, we have an ace.
Okay. Damage for random
Impact
happens to be his
is a
impact
10.
is a 10. But you have to spend that ace to stop him.
Yes,
now,
I
which
do.
Takes you out of that defense stance.
Yep. And then I'm going to throw a 10 to launch him out of the way.
All right.
So Raph just got
Which then hits the
thrown,
ground.
and he's taking an
The ground
impact
is
damage.
a king. Raph's probably gone.
Raph
No
has an
way.
ace. Raph is still in the
All
game.
right,
So Raphael's got 1 life left. And he's over here in bad shape.
Okay. He's over there now. So I'm going to pivot off that kick into another kick into his face.
Which I have no defense cards left.
And I'm going to do a queen. That's a face card, so that's a big, massive hit. So I'm going to spin his ass.
The only downside is I do have a queen.
Sweet.
But he still takes the hit. Ah, poor Donnie.
That's going to spin your ass, and you're going to hit the ground,
Which is another impact card.
which is a 6. Come on,
6?
be low life on this.
It's a king! Damn, Donnie was super defensive this game. I'll tell you what, guy.
And then it's up to you whether or not you maintain that bow staff or not. I'll leave that up to your discretion.
Honestly, he probably lost that thing. Especially if he got roundhouse kicked like that. So that fucking thing flew over there.
Okay.
And I think that's the end of your turn, isn't it? So
Yes,
we need
that-
to start getting cards back out, and we'll continue from there. All right, so now we got to redraw speed because that was the end of another phase. So let's see.
Leo's sitting at Jack. You're sitting at 2. You're sitting at 4.
So it's going to go Leo, Raph, and Don again. So basically, nothing's really changed.
So
But the really poopy thing about this is Leo's basically getting 2 turns in a row now.
yep, and I'm gonna add that +2 to my attack because it's fucking sweet.
Okay?
So I'm gonna be coming down with an 8.
You're going to be
Or
coming
7, sorry.
coming
'Cause
down
I'm
with a
gonna-
7?
I flipped the sword around in my hand.
All right. So you're going to be coming down at Donnie trying to knock some more life out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to block with the 10,
All right.
and I'm going to counter with a king and launch you backwards. Or actually, I'm going to launch you overhead and into Raph.
All right.
So we're going to see how well this works. So you don't have anything to counter a king, do you?
No.
Okay.
I have to be thrown.
So you're getting thrown. Let's see. Yeah, Raph isn't. Yeah, Raph ain't going to be doing shit. So You're going to take impact damage from landing on Raph, and then Raph is going to be taking impact damage from you landing on him. So go ahead and do you first.
Impact is at a queen.
So.
I can't do anything about it.
And that's an 8. Leonardo's down, and now we got to throw another card to see how bad Raph gets screwed. So this might be the end of the game right here, folks. Your awesome attack became your downfall. Trying to even out the field and knock Donatello down to 1 life. What's wrong with you? Oh, also, in the instance that I flipped you, he is also going to get up. So he's going to use that momentum to stand back up. Albeit slightly awkwardly. Come on, stand up, guy.
Raphael 6.
Raphael takes a 6. Well, we'll just take it to the life. That's a jack. He survives, and he gets a new life card. So the really crappy thing for Raphael, though, right now, he's got Leonardo on top of him. So now he has to burn a card to get him off. That sounded horrible. Okay, so it's Raphael's turn now. He's going to, I'd say a 5 should be able to get him off, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and burn one of the 5s. So he rolls Leonardo off of him. Sadly, I'm going to have to burn one of these here 7s to get him back up. So he's going to do that. He's going to rush Donatello with a 7. Make sure he gets there. And he's going to backstab Don with a 9. So because he's hitting him from behind, Donatello does not get a single bonus to his attack or his defense.
He does not, and you still get the +1 because you're using Psi in that attack.
Yep. So get him standing back up. So Donnie's going to get hurt pretty bad. So I got to see if I can beat a 9. I cannot beat a 9 at all.
So Donnie has to get hit.
So Donnie's going to take the hit, and he's going to fly forward.
Not with a stab.
Well, he's going to stab up a little.
That's
yeah.
Sticking. You're stuck right
so
there.
He's stuck.
You don't fly away when a sword hits you.
Oh, you can. Pieces of you would. So, all right. Well, with that, that's the end of Raphael's stuff. So right now he's got a Psi stuck into Donatello. Poor guy. Well, I'm going to burn a 7 out of my defense pile to get him unstuck and spin around. And as he's using the momentum to spin around, I'm going to use one of my attack cards. It's a Joker. He's going to just straight kick Raphael right in the chest. So I'll just lay down. Raphael has nothing that can beat a Joker, so unless this is a Joker, that's end game. And that's a king. So out of the final tally.
There's that. He goes down.
And he is gone. There is no more Raph.
Nope. I'm going to use this king.
Huh?
I'm going to use that king.
How are you going to use that king?
Because I'm knocked out, not dead.
Oh, damn it. You cheap bastard.
We said death match.
Oh, that's true. Well, I'm pretty sure that straight kick with the Joker killed him, so. All right.
His friggin' heart. That
All right.
Joker is
so if he's getting back up, I still have 2 cards left.
Okay.
I'm going to rush him. And now here's the funny part. You shuffled and dealt.
Yeah.
Drop kick with full force.
That's a bitch.
Bam! Dead.
Yep.
Donatello is the victor of the death match of the turtles, thanks to the heart of the cards for all you Yugi fans out there. Otherwise known as extreme dumb luck and this stupid mug not being able to shuffle.
You got lucky as shit with that one.
Oh, yeah, I did. I will admit, I got extremely lucky with that. So, all in all, that's a little overview of the game that we used to play a lot when we were younger.
I still have an entire chest of, I have like a shelf where I still have a whole bunch of cards, decks of cards, and a whole bunch of toys and whatnot. Ninja Turtles, and I have like some X-Men people and different Marvel and DC things like that, some ninjas, cliche ninjas from like G.I. Joe and whatnot. And we used to play this a lot. We don't anymore. I bought these 4 turtles expressly just to simply have an excuse to discuss turtles and show off what I thought the new turtles looked like in terms of toys and whether or not they would be cool to put on your shelf or anything. But that's really all we were going to do today, and I thought it would be cool to add in the little game and see what people thought of it. So if you enjoyed this or whatever, please like, comment, subscribe, whatever, whore us out or whatever. And
if you actually
please
did
let
like
me
this
know
and would
what
like to
this
see
game
the
was
more
like.
advanced version of this, if we get enough people interested, we'll actually try and get some of the other guys together, and we'll show you the more advanced version, more with the superheroes and adding in the powers and stuff, so that way you can play it at home.
And if there's any questions, go to the comment sections below and write, and whatever you have in terms of how to play this game or whatever else, I'll try to explain what I can. So that was all for this review.